Let's start a great evening with Chevy Chase.
Take your filthy hands off. Test.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm scared to ask most of my questions. So great to have you at Steiner Sports. Mostly we have sports legends, and you have kind of been a sports legend in a few different things.
Is that a question? I am a good tennis player and soccer player and a legend.
You were?
Thanks for the, what?
You were mentioning playing soccer earlier. How long did you play soccer for?
Most of the games are like an hour. About 20 years. A lot. I loved it.
Your position? Center?
I was a center forward from high school on. And then after in college, and then I played with UCLA. Their team, when they practiced during the summer, and I was already hitting my 30s or whatever. At which point I understood that I couldn't really run as fast as they could. And so, it's over fast. But I loved soccer.
Was there a time when, at a time where you're like, you figured out that you were really funny, or were people telling you were funny, or was there ever like that particular moment where, like, wow, maybe I should be in comedy?
Maybe I should be in comedy? I know. No. Writing comedy I did for 10 to 12 years. The Smothers Brothers and Alan King and all of these. So I thought that's somewhat lucrative, and that's what I enjoy. My father was hilarious, and I was always a funny guy. But it never occurred to me that, that concept, should I be in comedy, until, in fact, it never occurred to me. But I had an agent here in New York named Lou Weiss over at William Morris, long since departed. Anyway, and he suggested go out to Los Angeles, where I had never been, to, see what's going on there as a writer. So I did that, and eventually, I'd get the Smothers laughing at writing things, and, at writers' meetings. They'd sort of slide me into the show because of something physical that I did or whatever. It just happened that one night at midnight, Monty Python's Holy Grail was being shown. And it was, I think, one of the first showings. And Lorne Michaels was in that same line that I was in. And I gather I was cutting up or whatever because he asked Rob Reiner, who I was with, who's that guy, and can you get him to my room up at the Chateau Marmont, where I'm trying to start a show and meet people. And so that's really the way it all began. I began as a writer, and I was always a writer, and I thought I'd always be a writer. And then when we got to New York and really set the show up and did it, somebody had to take a fall. somebody had to say, honestly, live from New York at Saturday night, because there was a Saturday Night Live with Howard Cosell at the time. And his, I think, funny guys were Bill Murray and Brian Doyle Murray, his brother. So that didn't last long, that show, but I had to get up and say live from New York at Saturday night, and that's how that all started. And having done many stunt falls and stunt work and whatnot, I'd always throw some odd, for a guy who looks like me, fall into something, and that became the opening.
With Caddyshack, I know that was...
I'm sorry, your time's up.
You talked about... We were talking about a little bit about Caddyshack and Michael and Cindy, all different relationships in it. In the beginning, people thinking the movie, you know, was going to be not as successful, and now here it is, you know, 35 years later, and people are dying to buy the posters that you sign, and you mentioned something.
Thanks for letting me in on that. Jeez, I'm signing them at $10 a poster. Holy shit. Well, I mean, look, honestly, from my memory of and my knowledge of making movies and stuff, and movies are judged successful or not by the first, I'll get it, the first opening weekend and the second one and on, but you know how much money they made, and Caddyshack never made a lot of money. In fact, I can't think of a movie I was in that made a lot of money. I turned down all the ones that made a lot of money. Like I took Foul Play instead of Animal House. Well, I could have made the kind of money that killed Belushi. But I mean, it went along that way. I wanted to work with Goldie, and I'd never met her, and I thought she was wonderful, and maybe I'd sort of lived Animal House in my own life, having toilet papered most of the Haverford campus when I was in college and stuff. But you know, I just felt I wanted something new. I do think you're getting a little feedback from my mic. Hello? Just a touch. Did you feel it? Did you hear it? Would you like to see my I'm sorry, that was over the line. Next question.
Justin, one of the questions, where do you go from there? There's a time, and if you compare it to sports and what we do here, where Derek Jeter becomes Derek Jeter, there's that moment where all of a sudden he's on the map, or Magic, or some of the great Lakers that we were talking about, where all of a sudden they become a household name, whether it's LeBron or whatever, and we've had so many of them through here. Is there like an era or a period of time where something you did where you woke up the next day and Chevy Chase was just somewhere where people were asking for your autograph and seeing you in restaurants? Was there a defining period of time, movie moment, where all of a sudden you're like, wow, you know, I'm on the grid, so to say?
By the way, those guys are at my house right now having dinner. No, I mean, of course. Well, I don't know. It's tough to really nail it down because it's not as if it's great athletes,
Right.
although I happen to be a great athlete. I think that a month or two into SNL that people I remember walking from my apartment not far to Rockefeller Center where we would shoot SNL, and walking back and hearing from people, and that was clearly Chevy Chase, unless there were people who had trains and had difficulty trying to get onto them, or I don't know. Anyway, so I got a sense of that, and it happened relatively quickly. So I mean, that may have been my moment. It certainly isn't the same as working your ass off at basketball or baseball or football or whatever, or tennis, over many, many years, 8 hours a day. For me, it came rather easily, although I did work very hard as a writer. I didn't do any stand-up comedy or any of that stuff. I felt that was sort of desperate looking and kind of odd. So it just sort of came my way, and I accepted that. And also by that time I was 31, you know, so I was already very mature. But mature enough at least to get the concept.
Would you say, is there another movie that you either passed or you thought about that you kind of looked
Passed on?
Passed on.
Oh shit.
That you wish you had back to?
Forrest Gump? Passed on it.
Really?
Blues Brothers? Passed. What do you call it? With Billy and all of them, and Harold and Ghostbusters? Passed. I passed on many things.
Did you pass on gut feeling or the business of it, or?
Well, I never actually got the script for Gut Feeling. But I would have. I don't know. I don't, whatever it was stupidity, because I could have made a lot more money. But no, I passed on such things as I wanted something different or new, or I had more of a. I wanted to be with Harold Ramis and write, and just sort of your normal stuff, without thinking about the monies. And we didn't hear a lot about that, because of course Bob Daly and Terry Sum were taking it all, and, at Warner's or whatever. So I mean, it didn't occur to me. So I just passed on basically some creative sense.
With Vacation, what was working with Christy Brinkley and Beverly and that crew?
Well, Beverly is still a very close friend of ours today, to this date. She's very funny and a terrific actress, and was perfect in that part. I mean, she's so much better than Ellen.
Right.
But nobody will play Ellen better than Bev. How can you skip out on Randy? I mean, he's the perfect cousin Eddie. Can I get you something, Eddie? How about another drink, or take you out to the woods and leave you for dead? I can't remember the whole, exactly. But no, I'm fine, Clark. Then an entire expensive piece of sculpture is ruined by him. He was wonderful. I hope for him that everything's okay, but I don't know what's going on. So I mean, those are three main, obviously, characters. But Beverly, and then Christy is Christy. She's a very beautiful girl who fit in her fashion. She can't act a hell of a lot better than Dennis, but that maybe has improved, I hope. No, just for her, I do. I mean, because it's amazing when you think that 40 years ago, well, 35 or whatever.
35.
Yeah. We did that, and she still looks exactly the same, you know. Beautiful girl, without any work done, to my knowledge. I don't know what that whole line down her back of her neck is. It's not true. It's not true. You'll be all right. Is that it?
Yeah, more than it.
Did I answer anything?
Everything. Everything. We really, Steiner Sports, and we're just so thrilled to have you up here. Everyone was, you know, so excited.
I'm happy to talk sports if you like.
Okay. Tennis.
Yeah.
Surprised to see Serena.
Okay, let me put it this way.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, real surprise to see Serena win. I mean, lose? Yes, that was a big surprise. On the other hand, she's getting older. Roger, 34, and Djokovic, 28. Djokovic is good. We have to give it to him. He's just not quite as likable as
Yeah,
Roger.
people have never warmed up, right, too.
No.
Same way they never warmed up to Sampras, really.
But you can see that he's trying to get them to warm up to him. And it's not as if they were great lovers of Lendl either, but
No.
the fact is he was remarkable in his ability to keep it going. So, I mean, I think Roger will always be one of those people you just can't help to think this is maybe the greatest of all time, with the help of Johnny Mac, saying it every time.
Do you like listening to Johnny Mac through the matches?
Do I what?
Like listening to Johnny Mac through the matches?
Yeah.
You know, we broadcast the matches.
Oh yeah,
I think he's
I
brilliant.
also know him well, and it's fun to play with him even, because if you play doubles with Johnny Mac, and it's just you know, like there are these pro celeb things that make money for indigents. Anyway, but I mean, like down at Chrissy Everett's every year I go, and we were playing partners, John and I, which is funny enough. And Chrissy was with, at the time, President one of the Bushes, and I missed the ball. I mean, it's amazing because, you know, John is very likable, and I love him, and I want to beat him up sometimes. But, you know, there you are, and everything's polite, people applauding, lots of people, and then I miss a fucking nothing. You know, I hit
Half volley.
a return,
Right.
and it's like a good half volley. And then, so it's hit up in the air because it's a serve to me, let's say from Bush. And then I, this close to the net, and I whack it into the net. And that's John, it's right there. You asshole! You know, it's like, how could you miss that after a great, you know, just say, Jesus, John. Christ, what am I supposed to be, Federer? But, yeah, I love tennis. I love any of these. That's one of the great things, by the way. I know that you, as you said, you harbor athletes up here most of the time, and who can blame you? But it's great to be able to mix in with them, providing you have some ability in sports and be around them, because they're just people. And
No way, no question.
John just loses his temper at anything, you know. Pass the salt. The salt! You know? No, it's not that bad, but he's pretty funny.
I think he said 3 weeks ago he could beat Serena now. Agree?
I think so. I think he could, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a couple questions from the audience, and then we're going to do some photos and all that good stuff. Is that okay, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, right here.
I was wondering if you could share with us your funniest or fondest memory from my favorite film, Funny Farm.
You know, I'm glad you said that, because it happens to be what I think is my best movie. Mostly because George Roy Hill, who was a great director, did The Sting and, excuse me. No idea where that came from. George Roy Hill directed Butch Cassidy and, The Sting and others. Great guy, great director. So it's one of my favorites. What was the question?
What was your funniest or fondest memory of that?
Of that movie?
Yeah. Something you can share with us that we don't know.
Oh my. Anything I could invent that George would allow. He was very particular in what he used to say. You've got to kill your angels, Chevy. Meaning, I guess to him, angels meant all these funny things that keep coming to you. You've got to, because he had also directed Robin Williams and others. Robin was all over the place, so I think he wanted to keep it controlled. Well, there was a prop guy who had a problem with a noise he made when working about the set, and it was this noise. Just no big deal. I never mentioned. Nobody meant nothing. But the girl who's in the movie with me, Madeline Smith, a very funny, wonderful girl, and I were supposed to walk. She said, "Well, you should see our phones here finally, because nothing was arriving at this house that we had rented or bought." And I said, "Oh, well, then let's go look." And of course, it ended up the phone was a pay phone anyway. That they had screwed us, but that wasn't the issue so much as we walked through, and George followed us through this empty living space to the doorway where we would see the phone on the wall. I just went, and we both lost it at the moment we arrived at the doorway. So it was a perfect, real laugh. I mean, we were both in hysterics. Although it was taken by the audience for us laughing at how funny the phone was because it was finally there, but it was a pay phone,
So they actually kept that in the film.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
Oh yeah. That laugh was as real as it gets. Yeah.
Question right back here.
Hi, Chevy.
Hi.
A couple of months ago, it was the 30th anniversary of the release of Fletch, which is my favorite movie of yours. And I was wondering if you could share some of your favorite memories from Fletch, what it was like working on that set with such a talented bunch of people, and do you still have Mr. Underhill's American Express card?
No, I don't. And I don't remember who else was that good. Well, I had a blast because the director was Michael Ritchie, and he was known for some pretty good movies and a good guy, and he just let me go. I mean, that's the only movie I've made where I just winged it, basically. I knew what the situation was, cameras would roll, and I would, I don't know, walk down the hall singing, "There's just someone in my pants." I don't know what, but just stuff, And so I had a great time. What was so funny in that? Oh shit, I don't know, man. There were funny moments. Do you have something in mind? I don't know. It's back a ways, and I can only remember coming into this room.
Okay, question right here.
Who's the funniest person you've ever been around that just made you laugh so hard?
My father, by far. And I think just about everybody says that, don't they?
I don't.
I mean, we all. Well, you never met my father. Anyway,
About someone famous like Gleason or Field.
Gleason. Yeah, we spent a lot of time together. Come on, Jackie, fall down again and break another leg.
Simon Mason.
I mean, you know, Robin was undeniably a funny guy, Williams. But there were so many. I mean, I don't know how to, Bill Murray. Oh gosh, so many that were funny. I always had this sense that I was funnier.
Definitely.
That's not a good thing necessarily that I said that. I mean, it's egotistical and narcissistic and everything else that Donald Trump is. But I always had the sense that whatever you give me, I'll give it back better or something. So you know, so people who actually made me laugh out loud, it had to be kind of sudden and from out of nowhere. And that meant really mostly physical comedy, because that's my pleasure and what I like. That meant that somebody is doing something that's totally out of the ordinary for them suddenly. So it's surprise. To me, laughter is surprise, as is crying or anything else. But mostly laughter is surprise. So you've got to be, you know, that's how I really started. I was with writing with the Smothers Brothers, and we had a meeting, and I had a glass of water in my hand, and they were saying, what's happening? We're not, the ratings are, they're not plummeting, but they're not going up, and I just said, well, look, and the water just flew, and they just went nuts with hysterics. And I said, that's what you need, is surprise. You need to just give them what they don't expect, and what they do expect is Tommy going, and you going, you know. It's great to have a funny song, but those days may have passed since Mozart, and whatever.
We're gonna take two more questions, and then we're all gonna do great photos.
And we're all going to pee on each other.
That too. We have time. Right here.
Because you were saying about the slapstick and you know what makes you laugh, right? And what do you think of Farley, number one?
Have you asked the question already?
And who makes you laugh today? Who's out right now that makes you laugh?
Trump? I know that may not be a favorite thing here. Frankly, I mean, where do you see these people? I don't go to clubs. I never was a stand-up, and I don't watch TV. So it's hard to say. I don't know. I'd have to turn on an old movie or something, you know. I mean, it's hard to beat Chaplin or the Marx Brothers, and then you move up and up and up and up. So there are many. I just can't come up with one today that makes me laugh any more than you do.
Okay, hold on. Last question right there.
How real was the Bill Murray quarrel, and how awkward was it shooting movies with his brother afterwards? I think he shot like 5 movies.
Well, where did you get your information? How real was the what?
A quarrel with Bill Murray, the second season.
We've had 20 quarrels. We've had so many damn quarrels. Oh, you mean when he wanted to hit me? It was this real. Me, Bill. He jumps at me, boxer. That was it. We ended up hitting John in the head from behind. Belushi.
And it was never brought up again with his brother in the previous films after that?
No, are you kidding? They don't care about each other. They're from Chicago. No, Brian, I've had in billions of films. He don't care. I mean, they love each other. And Brian, in fact, got his arms around me before I threw any punches. And boy, he was strong, and he's not a big guy. So I don't know, but Billy has had me play golf with him many times since then, and I can't play golf. I mean, I meet him at the 9th hole after the first swing, and he's up there eating a sandwich or something. Where have you been? You know, I don't know. But very genuinely funny guy, Bill Murray. You just have to keep your back away from him. You want to make sure that the club doesn't hit you right in the back of the head. He's a violent man.
Thanks everyone so much. Thank you, sir, for
Sure.
everything. Was